Snoop Dogg. This video compresses information gathered from Wikipedia in video format. Studies prove that reading while listening improves comprehension, increases speed as well as expands vocabulary and enhances fluency. Video sections: Abstract, Early Life, Musical Career, Other Ventures, Style and Rap Skills, Personal Life, Business Ventures and Investments, World Records, Legal Incidents, Discography, Awards and Nominations, Official Social Media Links. Give your feedback on the comments section. Support the channel by subscribing and liking the video. Thanks. Abstract. Calvin Cordazar Broadus Jr., born October 20, 1971, best known by his stage name Snoop Dogg, previously Snoop Doggy Dogg, and briefly Snoop Lion, is an American rapper and media personality. His fame dates to 1992 when he featured on Dr. Dre's debut solo single, Deep Cover, and then on Dre's debut solo album, The Chronic. Snoop has since sold over 23 million albums in the United States and 35 million albums worldwide. Snoop's debut solo album, Doggy Style, produced by Dr. Dre, was released by Death Row Records in November 1993, and debuted at number 1 on the Popular Albums chart, the Billboard 200, and on Billboard's Top R&B Hip-Hop Albums chart, selling 800,000 copies in its first week. Doggy Style was certified quadruple platinum in 1994 and bore several hit singles, including What's My Name and Gin and Juice. In 1994, Death Row Records released a soundtrack by Snoop for the short film Murder Was the Case, starring Snoop. In 1996, his second album, Tar Dogfather, also debuted at number 1 on both charts, with Snoop's Upside Ya Head as the lead single. The next year, the album was certified double platinum this year. After leaving Death Row Records in January 1998, Snoop signed with No Limit Records, releasing 3 Snoop albums: Dar Game Is To Be Sold, Not To Be Told, 1998, No Limit Top Dog, 1999, and Tar Last Meal, 2000. In 2002, he signed with Priority Capital EMI Records, releasing Paid Tar Cost To Be Dar Boss. In 2004, he signed to Geffen Records, releasing his next 3 albums: R&G, Rhythm and Gangsta, The Masterpiece, then Tar Blue Carpet Treatment, and Ego Trippin'. Priority Records released his album Malice in Wonderland during 2009, followed by Documentary during 2011. Snoop Dogg has starred in motion pictures and hosted several television shows, including Doggy Fizzle Televizzle, Snoop Dogg's Fatherhood, and Dog After Dark. He also coaches a youth football league and high school football team this year. In September 2009, EMI hired him as the chairman of a reactivated Priority Records. In 2012, after a trip to Jamaica, Snoop announced a conversion to Rastafarianism and a new alias, Snoop Lion. As Snoop Lion, he released a reggae album, Reincarnated, and a documentary film of the same name, about his Jamaican experience. In early 2013, his 13th studio album, Bush, was released in May 2015 and marked a return of the Snoop Dogg name. His 14th solo studio album, Kool-Aid, was released in July 2016. Snoop has 17 Grammy nominations without a win. In March 2016, the night before WrestleMania 32 in Arlington, Texas, he was inducted into the celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame, having made several appearances for the company, including as Master of Ceremonies during a match at WrestleMania 24. In 2018, Snoop announced that he was a born-again Christian, and released his first gospel album, Bible of Love. On November 19, 2018, Snoop Dogg was given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He released his 17th solo album, I Wanna Thank Me, in 2019. Early life. Calvin Cordazar Broadus Jr. was born in Long Beach, California, to Vernal Varnado and Beverly Brodus. Vernal, who was a Vietnam veteran, singer, and mail carrier, left the family only 3 months after Calvin's birth, and thus he was named after his stepfather, Calvin Cortazar Brodus Sr. His father remained largely absent from his life. As a boy, his parents nicknamed him Snoopy due to his love and likeness of the cartoon character from Peanuts. He was the second of his mother's 3 sons. His mother and stepfather divorced in 1975. When Brodus was very young, he began singing and playing piano at the Golgotha Trinity Baptist Church. In 6th grade, he began rapping. As a child, Brodus sold candy, delivered newspapers, and bagged groceries to help his family make ends meet. He was described as having been a dedicated student and enthusiastic churchgoer. Brodus said in 1993 that despite his mother's best efforts to keep him singing in the choir and playing football, he began gangbanging and running the streets in his teenage years. Brodus would frequently rap in school. As he recalled, "When I rapped in the hallways at school, I would draw such a big crowd that the principal would think there was a fight going on. It made me begin to realize that I had a gift. I could tell that my raps interested people and that made me interested in myself." As a teenager, Brodus frequently ran into trouble with the law. He was a member of the Rollin' Twenties Crips gang in the East Side area of Long Beach. Although in 1993 he denied the frequent police and media reports by saying that he never joined a gang. Shortly after graduating from high school, he was arrested for possession of cocaine, and for the next 3 years, was frequently incarcerated, including at Wayside Jail, with his 2 cousins Nate Dogg and Lil Dead and friend Warren G. Snoop recorded homemade tapes. The 4 called their group 213 after the area code of their native Long Beach at that time. One of Snoop's early solo freestyles, Over, Hold On, by En Vogue, was on a mixtape that fortuitously wound up with Dr. Dre. The influential producer was so impressed by the sample that he called Snoop to audition. Former NWA affiliate the DOC taught him to structure his lyrics and separate the themes into verses, hooks, and choruses. Musical career. When he began recording, Brodus took the stage name Snoop Doggy Dogg. Dr. Dre began working with him, first on the theme song of the 1992 film Deep Cover and then on Dr. Dre's debut solo album There Chronic, along with the other members of his former starting group, Tar Dog Pound. This intense exposure played a considerable part in making Snoop Dogg's debut album, Doggy Style, the critical and commercial success that it was, fueling the ascendance of West Coast G-Funk hip-hop. The singles, Who Am I?, What's My Name?, and Gin and Juice reached the top 10 most played songs in the United States, and the album stayed on the Billboard charts for several months. Gangster rap became the center of arguments about censorship and labeling, with Snoop Dogg often used as an example of violent and misogynistic musicians. Unlike much of the harder-edged gangster rap artists, Snoop Dogg seemed to show his softer side. According to music journalist Chuck Phillips, Rolling Stone music critic asserted that Snoop had a relatively soft vocal delivery compared to other rappers. Snoop's vocal style is part of what distinguishes him. Where many rappers scream, figuratively and literally, he speaks softly. Doggy Style, much like The Chronic, featured a host of rappers signed to or affiliated with the Death Row label, including Daz Dillinger, Corrupt, Nate Dogg, and others. A short film about Snoop Dogg's murder trial, Murder Was the Case, was released in 1994, along with an accompanying soundtrack. On July 6, 1995, Doggy Style Records, Inc., a record label founded by Snoop Dogg, was registered with the California Secretary of State as business entity number C1923139. Brodus was acquitted of his murder charge on February 20, 1996. According to Brodus, after he was acquitted, he did not want to continue living the gangster lifestyle, because he felt that continuing his behavior would result in his assassination or a prison Termisia. After his acquittal, he, the mother of his son, and their kennel of 20 pit bulls moved into a 5,000 square foot, 460 square meters, home in the hills of Claremont, California, and by August 1996 Doggy Style Records, a subsidiary of Death Row Records, signed the Gap band's Charlie Wilson as one of its first artists. He collaborated with fellow rap artist Tupac Shakur on the 1996 single, Two of America's Most Wanted. This was one of Shakur's last songs while alive. He was shot on September 7, 1996, in Las Vegas, dying 6 days later. By the time Snoop Dogg's second album, Tar Dog Father, was released in November 1996, the price of appearing to live the gangster life had become very evident. Among the many notable hip-hop industry deaths and convictions were the death of Snoop Dogg's friend and label mate Tupac Shakur and the racketeering indictment of Death Row co-founder Suge Knight. Dr. Dre had left Death Row earlier in 1996 because of a contract dispute. So Snoop Dogg co-produced Tar Dog Father with Daz Dillinger and DJ Pooh. This album featured a distinct change of style from Doggy Style, and the lead-off single, Snoop's Upside Your Head, featured a collaboration with Charlie Wilson. The album sold reasonably well but was not as successful as its predecessor. Tar Dog Father had a somewhat softer approach to the G-Funk style. After Dr. Dre withdrew from Death Row Records, Snoop realized that he was subject to an ironclad time-based contract, and refused to produce any more tracks for Suge Knight other than the insulting "Fuck Death Row" until his contract expired. In an interview with Neil Strauss in 1998, Snoop Dogg said that though he had been given lavish gifts by his former label, they had withheld his royalty payments. Stephen Thomas Erlewine of AllMusic said that after Tar Dog Father, Snoop Dogg began moving away from his gangster roots toward a calmer lyrical aesthetic. For instance, Snoop participated in the 1997 Lollapalooza concert tour, which featured mainly alternative rock music. Troy J. Augusto of Variety noticed that Snoop's set at Lollapalooza attracted much dancing, and, strangely, even a small mosh pit in the audience. Snoop signed with Masterpiece No Limit Records, distributed by Priority EMI Records, in March 1998 and debuted on the label with "Our Game Is to Be Sold, Not to Be Told" later that year. He said at the time that Snoop Dogg is universal, so he can fit into any camp, especially a camp that knows how to hand-make shit in ND. No Limit hand-makes material. They make material fit into the artist and they know what type of shit Snoop Dogg is supposed to be on. That's why it's so tight. His other albums on No Limit were No Limit Top Dog in 1999, selling over 1,510,000 copies, and Tar Last Meal in 2000, selling over 2,100,000. In 1999, his autobiography, Tar Dog Father, was published. In 2002, he released the album Paid Tar Cost to Be Darbo Dollar Dollar on Priority Capital EMI, selling over 1,310,000 copies. The album featured the hit singles From Tartuche to Dar Palace and Beautiful, featuring guest vocals by Pharrell. By this stage in his career, Snoop Dogg had left behind his gangster image and embraced a pimp image. In June 2004, Snoop signed to Geffen Records, Star Trek Entertainment, both distributed by Interscope Records. Star Trek is headed by producer duo The Neptunes, which produced several tracks for Snoop's 2004 release R&G, Rhythm and Gangsta. The masterpiece, Drop It Like It's Hot, featuring Pharrell, the first single released from the album, was a hit and became Snoop Dogg's first single to reach #1. His third release was Signs, featuring Justin Timberlake and Charlie Wilson, which entered the UK chart at No. 2. This was his highest entry ever in the UK chart. The album sold 1,730,000 copies in the US alone, and most of its singles were heavily played on radio and television. Snoop Dogg joined Warren G and Nate Dogg to form the group 213 and released The Hard Way in 2004, debuting at number 4 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the top R&B, hip-hop albums. It included the single, Groupie Love. Snoop Dogg appeared in the music video for Korn's Twisted Transistor, along with fellow rappers Lil Jon, Exhibit, and David Banner. Snoop Dogg appeared on 2 tracks from Ice Cube's 2006 album Laugh Now, Cry Later, including Go to Church, and on several tracks on Tar Dog Pound's Cali is Active the same year. His song Real Talk was leaked on the internet in the summer of 2006 and a video was later released on the internet. Real Talk was dedicated to former Crips leader Stanley Tookie Williams and a diss to Arnold Schwarzenegger, the governor of California. 2 other singles on which Snoop made a guest performance were Keep Bouncing by $2 Hort and Gangsta Walk by Coolio. Snoop's 2006 album Tar Blue Carpet Treatment debuted on the Billboard 200 at number 5 and sold over 850,000 copies. The album and the second single, That's That Shit, featuring R. Kelly were well received by critics. In the album, he collaborated in a video with E40 and other West Coast rappers on the single, Candy Drippin' Like Water. In July 2007, Snoop Dogg made history by becoming the first artist to release a track as a ringtone before its release as a single. It's the Dog. On July 7, 2007, Snoop Dogg performed at the Live Earth concert, Hamburg. Snoop Dogg has ventured into singing for Bollywood with his first ever rap for an Indian movie, Sing Is King. The song title is also Sing Is King. He appears in the movie as himself. The album featuring the song was released on June 8, 2008 on Jungly Music Records. He released his ninth studio album, Ego Trippin', selling 400,000 copies in the US, along with the first single, Sexual Eruption. The single peaked at No. 7 on the Billboard 100, featuring Snoop using auto-tune. The album featured production from QDT, Quick Dog Teddy. Snoop was appointed an executive position at Priority Records. His 10th studio album, Malice in Wonderland, was released on December 8, 2009. The first single from the album, Gangsta Love, featuring The Dream, peaked at number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100. The album debuted at number 23 on the Billboard 200, selling 61,000 copies its first week, making it his lowest charting album this year. His third single, I Wanna Rock, peaked at number 41 on the Billboard Hot 100. The fourth single from Malice in Wonderland, titled Pronto, featuring Soulja Boy Tell 'Em, was released on iTunes on December 1, 2009. Snoop re-released the album under the name More Malice. Snoop collaborated with Katy Perry on California Girls, the first single from her album Teenage Dream, which was released on May 7, 2010. Snoop can also be heard on the track Flashing by Dr. Dre and on current Dollar Wise song Sea Change. He was also featured on a new single from Australian singer Jessica Mauboy, titled Get 'Em Girls, released September 2010. Snoop's latest effort was backing American recording artist Emmy on her second single entitled Mr. Romeo. Snoop also collaborated with American comedy troupe The Lonely Island in their song Turtleneck and Chain, in their 2011 album Turtleneck and Chain. Snoop Dogg's 11th studio album is Documentary. The album went through several tentative titles including Doggy Style 2, Tar Documentary and Documentary Music 0020 before being released under the final title Documentary during March 2011. Snoop was featured on Gorillaz' album Plastic Beach on a track called Welcome to the World of the Plastic Beach with the Hypnotic Brass Ensemble. He also completed another track with him entitled Something Like This Night, which does not appear on Plastic Beach, yet does appear on Documentary. He also appears on the latest Tech Nine album All Sixes and Sevens, released June 7, 2011. on a track called Pornographic, which also features E40 and Chris Calico. On February 4, 2012, Snoop Dogg announced a documentary, Reincarnated, alongside his new upcoming studio album entitled Reincarnated. The film was released March 21, 2013, with the album slated for release April 23, 2013. On July 20, 2012, Snoop Dogg released a new reggae single, The Lila, under the pseudonym Snoop Lion. 3 other songs were also announced to be on the album: No Guns Allowed, Ashtrays and Heartbreaks, and Harder Times. On July 31, 2012, Snoop introduced a new stage name, Snoop Lion. He told reporters that he was rechristened Snoop Lion by a Rastafarian priest in Jamaica. In response to Frank Ocean coming out, Snoop said hip-hop was ready to accept a gay rapper. Snoop recorded an original song for the 2012 fighting game Tekken Tag Tournament 2, titled Knock 'Em Down, and makes a special appearance as a non-playable character in the Snoop Dogg stage arena. In September of the same year, Snoop released a compilation of electronic music entitled Loose Joints under the moniker DJ Snoopadelic, stating the influence of George Clinton's Funkadelic. In an interview with the Fader magazine, Snoop stated, Snoop Lion, Snoop Dogg, DJ Snoopadelic, they only know one thing: make music that's timeless and bangs. In December 2012, Snoop released his second single from Reincarnated, Here Comes the King. It was also announced that Snoop worked a deal with RCA Records to release Reincarnated in early 2013. Also in December 2012, Snoop Dogg released a That's My Work, a collaboration rap mixtape with Tad Dog Pound. In an interview with Hip Hop Weekly on June 17, producer Symbolic 1S1 announced that Snoop was working on his final album under his rap moniker Snoop Dogg. I've been working with Snoop. He's actually working on his last solo album as Snoop Dogg. In September 2013, Snoop released a collaboration album with his sons as Tar Brothers Boys titled Royal Fa Monsieur. On October 28, 2013, Snoop Dogg released another mixtape entitled That's My Work 2, hosted by DJ Drama. Snoop formed a funk duo with musician DM Funk called 7 Days of Funk, and released their eponymous debut album on December 10, 2013. In August 2014, a clip surfaced online featuring a sneak preview of a song Snoop had recorded for Pharrell. Snoop's Pharrell Williams-produced album Bush was released on May 12, 2015, with the first single, Peaches and Cream, having been released on March 10, 2015. On June 13, 2016, Snoop Dogg announced the release date for his album Kool-Aid, which was released on July 1, 2016. He headlined a unity party for donors at Philly's Electric Factory on July 28, 2016, the last day of the Democratic National Convention. Released March 1, 2017 through his own Doggy Style Records. Promise You. This precedes the release of his upcoming Kool-Aid film based on the album of the same name. Snoop Dogg released his 15th studio album Never Left in May 2017. He released a gospel album titled Bible of Love on March 16, 2018. Snoop was featured on Gorillaz' latest album The Now Now on a track called Hollywood with Jamie Principle. In November 2018, Snoop Dogg announced plans for his Puff Puff Pass tour, which features Bone Thugs-N-Harmony, $2 Hort, Warren G, Corrupt, and others. The tour ran from November 24 to January 5. Snoop Dogg was featured on Lil Dicky's April 2019 single Earth, where he played the role of a marijuana plant in both the song's lyrics and animated video. On June 25, 2019, the New York Times Magazine listed Snoop Dogg among hundreds of artists whose material was reportedly destroyed in the 2008 Universal fire. On July 3, 2019, Snoop Dogg released the title track from his upcoming 17th studio album, I Wanna Thank Me. The album was released on August 16, 2019. Snoop Dogg collaborated with Vietnamese singer Sun Tung MTP and Hai Trao Choan, which was officially released on July 1, 2019. As of October 3, 2019, the music video has amassed over 158 million views on YouTube. Early in 2020, it was announced that Snoop had rescheduled his tour in support of his I Wanna Thank You album and documentary of the same name. The tour has been rescheduled to commence in February 2021. In May 2020, Snoop released the song "Q Maldition," a collaboration with banda Similawins de Sergio Lizarraga, peaking at number 1 on the Billboard Bubbling Under Hot 100. Other ventures. Snoop Dogg has appeared in numerous films and television episodes throughout his career. His starring roles in film includes The Wash with Dr. Dre, and the horror film Bones. He also co-starred with rapper Wiz Khalifa in the 2012 movie Mac and Devin Go to High School, which a sequel has been announced. He has had various supporting and cameo roles in film, including Half-Baked, Training Day, Starsky and Hutch, and Bruno. He has starred in 3 television programs: sketch comedy show Doggy Fizzle Televizzle, variety show Dog After Dark, and reality show Snoop Dogg's Fatherhood, also starring Snoop's wife and children. He has starred in episodes of King of the Hill, Las Vegas, and Monk, 1 episode of Robot Chicken, as well as 3 episodes of One Life to Live. He has participated in 3 Comedy Central roasts for Flavor Flav, Donald Trump, and Justin Bieber. Cameo television appearances include episodes of The L Word, Weeds, Entourage, I Get That a Lot, Monk, and The Price is Right. He has also appeared in an episode of the YouTube video series Epic Rap Battles of History as Moses. In 2000, Snoop, as Michael J. Corleone, directed Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style, a pornographic film produced by Hustler. The film, combining hip-hop with X-rated material, was a huge success and won Top-Selling Release of the Year at the 2002 AVN Awards. Snoop then directed Snoop Dogg's Hustler's Diary of a Pimp in 2002. Using the nickname Snoop Scorsese, Snoop founded his own production company, Snoopadelic Films, in 2005. Their debut film was Bossin' Up, a film inspired by Snoop Dogg's album R&G, starring Lil Jon and Trina. On March 30, 2008, he appeared at WrestleMania 24 as a Master of Ceremonies for a tag team match between Maria and Ashley Massaro as they took on Beth Phoenix and Melina. 8 years later at WrestleMania 32, he accompanied his cousin Sasha Banks to the ring for her match, rapping over her theme music. He was also inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. In December 2013, Snoop performed at the annual Kennedy Center Honors Concert, honoring jazz pianist Herbie Hancock. After his performance, Snoop credited Hancock with inventing hip-hop. On several occasions, Snoop has appeared at the Players Ball in support of Bishop Don Magic Juan. Juan appeared on Snoop's videos for Boss Playa, ADIDAC, P.I. Monsieur P. Remix, Quote, Nothing Without Me, and A Pimp's Christmas Song. In November 2015, he starred in an Old Navy TV commercial together with Kumail Nanjiani and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. In January 2016, a Change.org petition was created in the hopes of having Dogg narrate the entire Planet Earth series. The petition comes after Snoop narrated a number of nature clips on Jimmy Kimmel Live. In April 2016, Snoop Dogg performed Straight Outta Compton and Our Police at Coachella. During a reunion of NWA members Dr. Dre, Ice Cube and MC Ren, he hosted a basketball fundraiser, Hoops for Water, for Flint, Michigan. The event occurred on May 21, 2016 and was run by former Toronto Raptors star and Flint native Morris Peterson. In the fall of 2016, VH1 premiered a new show featuring Snoop Dogg and his friend Martha Stewart called Martha and Snoop's Potluck Dinner Party, featuring games, recipes, and musical guests. Snoop Dogg and Stewart also later starred together in a Super Bowl commercial for T-Mobile during Super Bowl 51 in February 2017. Snoop currently hosts a revival of The Joker's Wild, which spent its first 2 seasons on TBS before moving to TNT in January 2019. He is set to be in the upcoming SpongeBob SquarePants film in an undisclosed role. Snoop has also created a fried chicken recipe, with barbecue flavor potato chips as an added ingredient in the batter. In early 2020, Snoop Dogg launched his debut wine release, under the name Snoop Cali Red, in a partnership with the Australian wine brand 19 Crimes. The red wine blend features Snoop's face on the label. Style and rap skills. Kool Moe Dee ranks Snoop at no. 33 in his book There's a God on the Mic, and says he has an ultra-smooth, laid-back delivery, and flavor-filled melodic rhyming. Peter Shapiro describes Snoop's delivery as a molasses drawl, and all music notes his drawled, laconic rhyming style. Kool Moe Dee refers to Snoop's use of vocabulary, saying he keeps it real simple, he simplifies it, and he's effective in his simplicity. Snoop is known to freestyle some of his lyrics on the spot in the book How to Rap. Lady of Rage says, "When I worked with him earlier in his career, that's how created his stuff. He would freestyle. He wasn't a writer then. He was a freestyler," and the DOC states, "Snoop's was a one-take Willie. But his shit was all freestyle. He hadn't written nothing down. He just came in and started busting. The song was Tosh Isn't, that was all freestyle. He started busting, and when we got to the break, Dre cut the machine off, did the chorus and told Snoop to come back in. He did that throughout the record. That's when Snoop was in the zone then." Peter Shapiro says that Snoop debuted on Deep Cover, with a shockingly original flow which sounded like a Slick Rick born in South Carolina instead of South London, and adds that he showed where his style came from by covering Slick Rick's La Di Da Die. Referring to Snoop's flow, Kool Moe Dee calls him one of the smoothest, funkiest flowers in the game. How to Rap also notes that Snoop is known to use syncopation in his flow to give it a laid-back quality, as well as linking with rhythm in his compound rhymes, using alliteration, and employing a sparse flow with good use of pauses. Snoop popularized the use of isle speak, particularly in the pop and hip-hop music industry, a type of infix. It first found popularity when used by Frankie Smith in his 1981 hit song Double Dutch Bus. Snoop listed his favorite rap albums for Hip Hop Connection. 10. Mixmaster Spade, The Genius Is Back. 9. Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. 8. Ice Cube, Death Certificate. 7. Tupac, Me Against the World. 6. The Notorious B.I.G., Ready to Die. 5. N.W.A., Straight Outta Compton. 4. Eric B. and Rakim, Paid in Full. 3. Slick Rick, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick. 2. Snoop Doggy Dogg, Doggy Style. 1. Dr. Dre, The Chronic, It's Stylist Shit. Personal life. Snoop married his high school sweetheart, Shantae Taylor, on June 12, 1997. On May 21, 2004, he filed for divorce from Taylor, citing irreconcilable differences. The couple renewed their wedding vows on January 12, 2008. They have 3 children together. Sons Cord, born August 21, 1994, and Cordell, born February 21, 1997, who quit football to pursue a career as a filmmaker, and daughter Corey, born June 22, 1999. Snoop also has a son from a relationship with Laurie Homond, Julian Corey Brodus, born 1998. He is the first cousin of R&B singers Brandy and Ray J, and WWE professional wrestler Sasha Banks. In 2015, Snoop became a grandfather, as his eldest son, Cord Brodus, had a son with his girlfriend, Jessica Kaiser. Cord had another son, Kai, who died on September 25, 2019, 10 days after birth. Since the start of his career, Snoop has been an avowed cannabis smoker, making it one of the trademarks of his image. In 2002, he announced he was giving up cannabis for good. That did not last long, and in 2013, he claimed to be smoking approximately 80 cannabis blunts a day. He has been certified for medical cannabis in California to treat migraines since at least 2007. Snoop claimed in a 2006 interview with Rolling Stone magazine that unlike other hip-hop artists who had superficially adopted the pimp persona, he was an actual professional pimp in 2003 and 2004, saying, "That shit was my natural calling, and once I got involved with it, it became fun. It was like shooting layups for me. I was macking them every time." He went on to say that on the advice of some of the pimps he knew, he eventually gave up pimping to spend more time with his family. Snoop is an avid sports fan, including hometown teams Los Angeles Dodgers, Los Angeles Lakers, and USC Trojans, as well as the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has stated that he began following the Steelers in the 1970s while watching the team with his grandfather. He is also a fan of the Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Rams, and Dallas Cowboys, often wearing a No. 5 jersey, and has been seen at Raiders training camps. He has shown affection for the New England Patriots, having been seen performing at Gillette Stadium this year. He is an avid ice hockey fan, sporting jerseys from the NHL's Pittsburgh Penguins and the AHL's Springfield Indians in his 1994 music video, Gin and Juice. On his reality show Snoop Dogg's Fatherhood, Snoop and his family received hockey lessons from the Anaheim Ducks, then returned to the Honda Center to cheer on the Ducks against the Vancouver Canucks in their episode Snow in Dahood. Snoop is a certified football coach and has been head coach of his son Cordell's youth football teams. Cordell played wide receiver and defensive back at Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas, Nevada. Cordell played on the 2014 state championship team, and received football scholarship offers from Southern California, UCLA, Washington, Cal, Oregon State, Duke, and Notre Dame. Cordell committed and signed a letter of intent to play for UCLA on February 4, 2015. On August 14, 2015, UCLA announced that Cordell had left the UCLA football team to pursue other passions in his life. Since 2005, Snoop Dogg has been operating a youth football league in the Los Angeles area. He is a coach in the league, and one of the seasons he coached was documented in the Netflix documentary Coach Snoop. In 2009, it was reported that Snoop was a member of the Nation of Islam this year. On March 1, he made an appearance at the Nation of Islam's annual Savior's Day holiday, where he praised Minister Louis Farrakhan. Snoop said he was a member of the Nation, but declined to give the date on which he joined. He also donated $1,000 to the organization, claiming to be born again. In 2012, Snoop converted to the Rastafari movement, switched the focus of his music to reggae, and changed his name to Snoop Lion after a trip to Jamaica. He released a reggae album, Reincarnated, saying, "I have always said I was Bob Marley reincarnated." In January 2013, he received criticism from members of the Rastafarian community in Jamaica, including reggae artist Bunny Wailer, for alleged failure to meet his commitments to the culture. Snoop later dismissed the claims, stating his beliefs were personal and not up for outside judgment. Wailer is credited for giving Snoop the name of Lion after releasing Bible of Love in early 2018 and performing in the 33rd annual Stellar Gospel Music Awards. Snoop Dogg told a TV One interviewer while speaking of his gospel influences that he always referred to Savior Jesus Christ on most of his records, and that he had become a born-again Christian. Dogg partners with city officials and annually gives away turkeys to the less fortunate in Inglewood, California at Thanksgiving. He gave away 3,000 turkeys in 2016. In 2012, Snoop Dogg endorsed Representative Ron Paul in the Republican presidential primary, but later said he would vote for Barack Obama in the general election. and on Instagram gave 10 reasons to vote for Obama, and 10 reasons not to vote for Mitt Romney. In a 2013 interview with the Huffington Post, Snoop Dogg advocated for same-sex marriage, saying, "People can do what they want." In his keynote address at the 2015 South by Southwest Music Festival, he blamed Los Angeles' explosion of gang violence in the 1980s on the economic policies of Ronald Reagan, and insinuated that his administration shipped guns and drugs into the area. He endorsed presidential candidate Hillary Clinton on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live in May 2015, saying, "I would love to see a woman in office because I feel like we're at that stage in life to where we need a perspective other than the male's train of thought, and just to have a woman speaking from a global perspective as far as representing America. I'd love to see that. So I'll be voting for Mrs. Clinton." Following the deadly shooting of 5 police officers in Dallas on July 7, 2016, Snoop Dogg and the Game organized and led a peaceful march to the Los Angeles Police Department headquarters. The subsequent private meeting with the mayor Eric Garcetti and police chief Charlie Beck, a news conference was, according to Brodus, to get some dialogue and the communication going. The march and conference were part of an initiative called Operation HUNT, serving as a police brutality protest in response to the police shooting and killing of 2 black men, Philando Castile and Walton Sterling, whose killing prompted nationwide protests including those that led to the Dallas killing of police officers. Brodus stated that "We are tired of what is going on and its communication that is lacking." Reports of attendance range between 50,000 and 100 people. Snoop Dogg regularly appears in real fur garments, especially large coats, for which he attracts criticism from animal welfare charities and younger audiences. In a video podcast in 2012, the rapper asked, "Why doesn't Peter throw paint on a pimp's fur coat?" In 2014, Snoop Dogg claimed to have become a vegan, although he was filmed wearing fur less than a year later. In June 2018, he performed at the Environmental Media Association (EMA) Honors Gala. While he was performing, the logo for Beyond Meat was displayed on the screens behind Hi Monsieur in 2020. Snoop Dogg invested in vegan food company Original Foods, which makes pigless pork rinds, which he has said are a favorite. He is an ambassador for vegan brand Beyond Meat. Business ventures and investments. Brodus has been an active entrepreneur and investor. In 2009, he was appointed creative chairman of Priority Records. In May 2013, Brodus and his brand manager Nick Adler released an app, Snoopify, that lets users plaster stickers of Snoop's face, joints or a walrus hat on photos. Adler built the app in May after discovering stickers in Japan. As of 2015, the app was generating $30,000 in weekly sales. In October 2014, Reddit raised $50 million in a funding round led by Sam Altman and including investors Mark Andreessen, Peter Thiel, Ron Conway, Snoop Dogg and Jared Leto. In April 2015, Brodus became a minority investor in his first investment venture Ease, a California-based weed delivery startup that promises to deliver medical marijuana to persons' doorsteps in less than 10 minutes. In October 2015, Brodus launched his new digital media business, Mary Jane, that focuses on news about marijuana. Mary Jane is Cannabis 2.0, he said in a promotional video for the media source. A crossroads of pop culture, business, politics, health. In November 2015, Brodus announced his new brand of cannabis products, Leafs by Snoop. The line of branded products includes marijuana flowers, concentrates and edibles. Leafs by Snoop is truly the first mainstream cannabis brand in the world and proud to be a pioneer. Snoop Dogg said, "Pounds is blazing a trail for the industry." In such a way, Brodus became the first major celebrity to brand and market a line of legal marijuana products. On March 30, 2016, Brodus was reported to be considering purchasing the famed soul food restaurant chain Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles out of bankruptcy. In 2019, Snoop Dogg ventured into the video game business, creating his own esports league. He named it Gangster Gaming League. World Records. At the Bottle Rock Napa Valley Music Festival on May 26, 2018, Snoop Dogg, Warren G. Kendall Coleman, Kim Cattrall and Michael Voltaggio set the Guinness World Record for the largest Paradise cocktail, measuring 550 liters. The gin and juice drink was mixed from 181.75 liters bottles of gin, 156 1-liter bottles of apricot brandy and 28 3.78 liters jugs of orange juice. Time reported its total volume as more than 132 gallons. According to Guinness, following with an embedded tweet by Liam Maklem via GWR, the Guinness World Records official Twitter account, showing a reply from GWR to its own tweet stating, "He cocktail contained 180 bottles of Hendrick's gin, 154 bottles of apricot brandy and 38 3.78-liter jugs of orange juice." Mixmag, NME and USA Today published the same content quantities as GWR's tweet, with Mixmag reporting that, according to Guinness, the cocktail measured at 132 gallons. NME states that the total volume was more than 132 gallons, and USA Today's European website states that Guinness World Records official was on hand to certify the record of the 550-liter cocktail. Billboard published that the concoction required 180 handles of Hendrick's gin, resulting in a gigantic beverage. Legal incidents. Shortly after graduating from high school, Brodus was arrested for possession of cocaine and for the following 3 years was frequently in and out of prison. In 1990, he was convicted of felony possession of drugs and possession for sale, while recording Doggy Style in August 1993. Snoop Dogg was arrested in connection with the death of a member of a rival gang who was shot and killed by Snoop's bodyguard. Both men were charged with murder as Dogg was driving the vehicle from which the gun was fired. Johnny Cochran defended both men. Both men were acquitted, but Snoop Dogg remained entangled in the legal battles around the case for 3 years. In July 1993, Snoop was stopped for a traffic violation and a firearm was found by police during a search of his car. In February 1997, he pleaded guilty to possession of a handgun and was ordered to record 3 public service announcements, pay a $1,000 fine, and serve 3 years probation. In September 2006, Snoop Dogg was detained at John Wayne Airport in Orange County, California by airport security, after airport screeners found a collapsible police baton in Snoop's carry-on bag. Donald Etra, Snoop's lawyer, told deputies the baton was a prop for a musical sketch. Snoop was sentenced to 3 years probation and 160 hours of community service for the incident. Starting in September 2007, Snoop Dogg was arrested again in October 2006 at Bob Hope Airport in Burbank after being stopped for a traffic infraction. He was arrested for possession of a firearm and for suspicion of transporting an unspecified amount of marijuana, according to a police statement. The following month, after taping an appearance on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, he was arrested again for possession of marijuana, cocaine and a firearm. 2 members of Snoop's entourage, according to the Burbank police statement, were admitted members of the Rollin' Twenties Crips gang, and were arrested on separate charges. In April 2007, he was sentenced to a 3-year suspended sentence, 5 years probation, and was required to perform 800 hours of community service after pleading no contest to 2 felony charges of drug and gun possession by a convicted felon. He was also prohibited from hiring anyone with a criminal record or gang affiliation as a security guard or a driver. On April 26, 2006, Snoop Dogg and members of his entourage were arrested after being turned away from British Airways' first-class lounge at Heathrow Airport. Snoop and his party were denied entry to the lounge due to some members flying in economy class. After being escorted outside, the group got in a fight with the police and vandalized a duty-free shop. 7 police officers were injured in the midst of the disturbance. After a night in jail, Snoop and the other men were released on bail the next day. But he was unable to perform a scheduled concert in Johannesburg. On May 15, the Home Office decided that Snoop Dogg would be denied entry to the United Kingdom for the foreseeable future, and his British visa was denied the following year. As of March 2010, Snoop Dogg has been allowed back into the UK. The group involved in the incident have been banned by British Airways for the foreseeable future. In April 2007, the Australian Department of Immigration and Citizenship banned him from entering the country on character grounds, citing his prior criminal convictions. He had been scheduled to appear at the MTV Australia Video Music Awards on April 29, 2007. Australian Department of Immigration and Citizenship lifted the ban in September 2008 and had granted him a visa to tour Australia. DIAC said. In making this decision, the department weighed his criminal convictions against his previous behavior while in Australia, recent conduct including charity work and any likely risk to the Australian community. We took into account all relevant factors and, on balance, the department decided to grant the visa. He was banned from entering Norway for 2 years in July 2012 after entering the country the month before in possession of 8 grams, 0.3 ounces, of marijuana and an undeclared 227,000 kr in cash, or about $24,900 United States dollars as of August 2018. Snoop Dogg was arrested and fined for misdemeanor marijuana possession in Los Angeles in 1998, in Cleveland, Ohio in 2001, and Sierra Blanca, Texas in 2010. Snoop Dogg, after performing for a concert in Uppsala, Sweden on July 25, 2015, was pulled over and detained by Swedish police for allegedly using illegal drugs, violating a Swedish law enacted in 1988, which criminalized the recreational use of such substances, therefore even being under the influence of any illegal, controlled substance a crime itself even without possession. During the detention, he was taken to the police station to perform a drug test and was released shortly afterwards. The rapid test was positive for traces of narcotics, and he was potentially subject to fines depending on the results of more detailed analysis, which were expected to be completed within several weeks. The rapper uploaded several videos on the social networking site Instagram, criticizing the police for alleged racial profiling. Police spokesman Daniel Nielsen responded to the accusations, saying, "We don't work like that in Sweden," he declared in the videos. "Niggers got me in the back of police car right now in Sweden. And pulled a nigger over for nothing. Taking us to the station where I've got to go pee in a cup for nothing. I ain't done nothing. All I did was came to the country and did a concert. And now I've got to go to the police station. For nothing." He announced to his Swedish fan base that he would no longer go on tour in the country due to the incident. In the Death Row Records bankruptcy case, Snoop Dogg lost $2 million. Discography. Studio albums, collaboration albums, awards and nominations. Snoop Dogg was also a judge for the 7th Annual Independent Music Awards to support independent artists' careers.